Because that's back when you had to know how to rap.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You did.
Not you.
You
You know what I'm
did.
saying?
You did.
Yeah, flat out.
did.
You know what I
You
mean?
did.
So
You did.
he's like, all right, let's do this. You know what I mean? And it had to be, I don't know if he was under pressure, but I could see it being a pressure, type of situation when you got a crew like that that's already kicking in the door. You know what I'm saying? And now it's your turn.
Heck yeah.
And-
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, when I was listening to him again, sometimes we review the albums again to bring the freshness back to mind before we sit down and discuss them. And believe it or not, I kind of got a little influence of his style in your style, slightly. Could I possibly be on target? You already know what it is. Another ep where we rap. D.O.C and Crook. This time, we got the legendary, the epic, like Crook and I said, one of the most impactful and impressive debut albums in hip hop. One of them, definitely, of all time. The D.O.C. No one could do it better.
Wow.
That
Nice intro. It deserved that. It deserved all of that.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Not only do we know D.O.C. personally, and not only do we know what he contributed to the development of the Chronic album and Doggy Style, as well as other projects prior on the Ruthless roster, but he's just an all-around bad dude. Lyrically, his pen, God bless him, his voice, he's a stellar artist in hip hop that definitely needs to be revered and acknowledged and saluted for his contribution to West Coast hip hop.
Absolutely. No one could do it better. First of all, it dropped on Tupac's birthday, June 16th, in 89. You know what I'm saying?
I was thugging hard.
You feel me? And 89, I mean, I look at the artwork, I see in all black, no smiles. That's giving me the NWA rebellious, ruthless era, street aura. You feel me? And then I look at his African medallions. He got 2 African medallions on the cover. That's giving me the knowledge of self, the hip hop. You know what I'm saying? The consciousness. And then I look at the title and it's called No One Could Do It Better. That's giving me the competitive MC inside the D.O.C. No one could do it better. You feel me? So the artwork is already preparing me for what kind of journey I'm about to go on. When I first took a look at that artwork, and wanted to hear, like, damn, what the D.O.C. gonna sound like. All that shit went through my mind.
What was he standing in front of on the cover? What was that? Some
It was
kind
like
of
a
religious statue?
religious
or something?
statue or something.
it was like a
Yeah,
religious
you know what I'm
statue.
saying? Some
Yeah.
kind of like, from a certain time period. I'm sure a deep dude like him,
Lord of Lords.
everything meant something.
It say Lord of
King
Lord
of
and King of
Kings is
Kings
the Lord
on
of
there.
Lords.
You absolutely right.
And he got
So
a
it
king's
was a
hat on.
it was a subliminal.
It was.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
as
was.
far as his
In the
status as an
subliminal.
artist. Yeah, it was a subliminal and the subliminal.
Right, right.
And were you satisfied with the with what was delivered when you pressed play on that project? What did it make you think about D.O.C. when you pressed play and you got to the last song on there, which is what?
Grand finale.
The grand finale.
I mean, as soon as I pressed play, dog,
Ice Cube.
I heard, as soon as I pressed play, I said, damn, he just gonna give us the hit up front. You know what I'm saying? Funky Enough is the first thing that,
Yeah.
and Dr. Dre saying, y'all ready for this? Like, are y'all really ready for what y'all about to hear? Because y'all about to hear some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like 1, and then comes the 2 to the 3 and 4, which was used later on some Death Row Dog Pound, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre shit.
Right.
They flipped that later.
It was revamped.
It was revamped. You feel me? So that's how powerful it was, though. It was worth revamping.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And that first song was just crazy to me because he had a different style, and it felt like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, it's a little bit of dance hall in there. It's a little bit of, reggae feel to it. You know what I'm saying? And it was just, I was sold off the first single, but I was already a fan of the camp. So I was looking out for things from NWA, MC Ren, Eazy-E, DJ Yella, you know what I mean? Dr. Dre, all that.
Yeah,
so
Ren and Cube and them and Easy, they killed that grand finale too. They did. They repped it on there. Yeah, it felt to me like another step in the evolution of hip hop.
Right.
Because like you said, it was dance hall, it was lyricism, it was everything that makes a great lyricist pronounced. He wasn't missing a beat on no aspect. And he was very comfortable with his delivery. It sounded like he was a vet. His fucking debut sounded like he was a vet.
Super vet. He gave us 4 verses on that first single, on that first song too. He gave us 4 verses
minutes.
Off rip.
It was 4
You
minutes.
know what I'm saying? Like, yo, let's rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's back when you had to know how to rap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah.
You did.
Not you.
You
You know what I'm
did.
saying?
You did.
Yeah, flat out.
did.
You know what I
You
mean?
did.
So
You did.
he's like, all right, let's do this. You know what I mean? And it had to be, I don't know if he was under pressure, but I could see it being a pressure, type of situation when you got a crew like that that's already kicking in the door. You know what I'm saying? And now it's your turn.
Heck yeah.
And-
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, when I was listening to him again, sometimes we review the albums again to bring the freshness back to mind before we sit down and discuss them. And believe it or not, I kind of got a little influence of his style in your style, slightly. Could I possibly be on target?
Yeah, I think every artist has about 2 or 3 or 4 or however many different artists that they were influenced by. That's what makes them, that's what makes their recipe. They take this ingredient, those ingredients. He was from the cloth that I was paying most attention to. It was, I was really, really honed in on D.O.C. I was honed in on Cool G Rap. I was honed in on Big Daddy Kane. I was honed in on Rakim. You know what I'm saying?
You hear the multi-syllabic rhymes and the comfortability to not have a rhyme end with the rhyme that you started with, but rhyming that rhyme 2 bars later.
Yeah.
Coming back to it.
Come back to it, yeah.
Yeah. That's some amazing shit.
I love that.
Yeah. No, I could tell. No, I could tell. So, I was just hearing, I was listening to it, and I was like, damn, I see similarities. I see similarities. I said, I got to ask Crook about that. And,
Never tripped off that before until like
The D.O.C.
really like going on. I'm like,
And you're absolutely right. That is how it is. It's a little bit of this artist, a little bit of that artist
Create
that
that
you
jumbo.
admire. You know what I mean? And if you strive to be original, you're going to incorporate yourself and the style that you're aiming for out of that brew to be distinctly yours. But you'll definitely at some point hear those influences
Right.
within.
Because you're just gonna pick up things, you know what I'm saying? D, like you're gonna pick up shit. Like, yo, you know what? Oh, okay, that's dope. Because when I was listening to him, I was like, damn, I could hear another monstrous MC that's on the other side of the map that kind of feel like like he was in a certain pocket. I was like, that's a Tretch pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, damn.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a Tretch pocket. And Tretch and them came on the scene in 89, 92. So it was like, you know, I think that everybody was. Tretch is super underrated.
He's a monster.
Tretch is super Trigger Tretch. Shout out Trigger Tretch.
Yeah.
I think a lot of artists was trying to figure out, like, how do we expand what's been laid out? Okay, the OGs gave us the blueprint. How do we take that and expand it and take it to the next level for the next generation to pick up that baton and take it to a whole nother level? Like, that was our mindset all the time, was like, all right, if Rakim did this, how can I do that? You know what I mean? How can I do something, build on you know, the expansion of lyricism? Because that was very important. So when I listened to D.O.C., you know, and he got Mind Blowing, that joint come on. First of all, I'm noticing that Dr. Dre is on the turntables. And that right there is something that I miss in hip hop. When people used to really scratch in hooks, and you might have a bar, but you leave a word out and the DJ fill it in.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was the essence. That was part of the essence right there. That was the essence. That was a part of the dopeness right there of hip hop. The scratching, the DJ coming in and filling in words for you and going back and forth here and there. Yeah, that was really the call and response and all that of hip hop, of that hip hop era. It made hip hop all the more the shit, and it is missing right now.
Yeah,
it's
man.
Missing. That scratching is missing. That interaction with the producer and the artist and all that.
That's moving the crowd. It helped move the crowd.
Yeah.
And you know, on that Mind Blowing joint, another thing that I love about all the records growing up when I was listening is you used to hear some of your favorite artists scratch in parts of albums of your other favorite artists.
Right.
You feel me? So on the Mind Blowing, it's like we even lost our mind. That came from Public Enemy.
Yeah.
You know? And some of us, by the way we act, we even lost our mind. Here it is. Bam. In your face, goddamn. This is the dope jam. You feel me?
But let's define the term
called dope, and you thinking me funky.
Now, no.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they used that because, like, that right there, I used to love that because it was like your favorite artist giving props to your other favorite artist.
Yeah.
Within a song.
Yes.
That
feel me?
That kept hip hop building and brewing. You know what I mean?
You feel me?
Not. Oh, I'm just gonna do me and exclude everybody else around me. So you know my flavor can just dominate, and it's just me. That wasn't the soul of hip hop then.
Man.
You know what I mean?
Talk to
you
him.
know the boroughs. You know the boroughs out there. They got down with they cohorts. You know Queens got down with Queens. You know, Long Island got down with Long Island, the Bronx got down with the Bronx, but then you have artists that would transcend the borough to be, you know, because hip-hop was based out there around this time, 88, 89. We had artists, we was doing our thing out here when D.O.C. came to the table out here as an individual artist. That was after the NWA phase.
Right.
So we were already established artistically out here.
Yes.
as had our own sound and our own force, but collaborations and stuff like that, I don't think we were as widespread as far as the collaborations and everything. I don't think we were widespread enough for everyone to interact with each other that was in the game, because you had Short Dog in the Bay. Too Short, he was doing this thing up there, but he wasn't coming down to Southern California to interact with Dre and Cube and
right.
You know,
it took a minute before that happened. Yeah.
So the sound stayed regional, and the collaborations weren't prevalent out here. you know.
Right.
But out there, they were already used to managing hip hop and rocking crowds and parties and stuff like that. So they knew who would collaborate with who, would make a big song and things like that. And that's what they A&Rs knew when they was bringing that together. We were still trying to figure it out over here. But boy, when they put their embrace on D.O.C., it was like, you know, really, I see him as the one of the kickoff lyricists out here, then Corrupt, then Crooked Eye. It was like that was the evolution of lyricism as it happened out here, like, you know, to hold us down on the grand stage of hip hop.
Man,
In lyricism.
salute, brother. Salute. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Lend me an ear. That was the next
Lend me
joint.
a motherfucking ear.
Lend me an ear, bro. Up tempo, lyrical assault. Once again, from that wheelhouse of Kane and Cool G, because when they used to go up, they was spraying machine gun flow. You know what I mean? When Cool G was spitting on Poison and Men at Work, and Kane was, you know, RAW. D.O.C.
Ain't no half stepping.
D.O.C. is right in there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Lend me an ear. He going off on there, man.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, damn, you right. Like, it's like, bro, I know he came out of Dallas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
And then he came to the West. You feel me? He brought a cold ass style with him.
Yeah.
And you know, he could flex and he could change patterns, and you know, he landed with somebody who understood how to paint that picture with him, which is Dre.
Wow. That was a cold match right there. That was a cold match because he knew how to provide him with what he needed sonically to express himself to the best of his ability. Yeah. Because he's a wordsmith. D.O.C. is a wordsmith.
Right.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
And everybody don't know what to do with a wordsmith.
True. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you have some that, you know, I'm not going to name the producers, but I know a couple producers that had talent on their roster, and they tried to make them sound like their production,
right,
as opposed to making the artist sound like his lyrics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it didn't work out.
Yeah,
it didn't work out. So that's very important. Yeah, lend me an ear. He was snapping on that.
It was a lot of conscious lines in there too, man, which let me know, you know, this is an enlightened brother.
Very.
You know what I'm saying?
Very.
Like this dude is enlightened. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think that's important too, because, you know, reality rap, part of it is being enlightened, if you ask me. You feel me? So, you know,
either enlightened about the overall schematics of life itself, or enlightened about what you're expressing about your experience and your environment and your reality.
Yes.
But you have to be sharp.
You got to be sharp.
Right.
You got to be sharp. So then they take us to the commercial break. You know what I'm saying? And
out of breath?
Nah, this the one when Michelle A was singing.
Oh yeah, okay.
D.O.C. is in the house, but I think that's the one. So it's like the commercial breaks was dope because, you know, not everybody was making songs with interludes. I mean, albums with interludes and stuff. But it was also there to showcase the other roster members.
Yes.
You would see.
That was a beautiful thing.
You feel me? That's brilliant. You're going to have a commercial break, and now we going to hear Michelle A do her thing, Ice Cube in the back clowning, you know what I'm saying? And you feel that camaraderie. It's felt.
Yeah.
But it's also promoting the next artist, because now you might get a superstar artist and they won't even do collabs with some of the people on their label. You feel me? It's like, damn, you be sitting back wondering, like, why won't he rap with him? They on the same label.
And that used to be a prerequisite, damn near.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You got to do the piggyback. The
Yeah.
piggyback was
And
infamous.
That's
just
exactly.
how
The
it was.
piggyback prepared them for the next step.
Yeah, and you kind of like you anticipated, like, well, who is this? Like, you know, like when the Eastsiders album dropped, you know, they played our single. I mean, one of our songs, You know what I'm saying?
You don't know.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
you're
On the
getting into.
skit. So you kind of was like, okay, well, who was that? So
See what I'm saying? That's the formula.
that's the formula.
it was.
And it worked.
Yeah, it did.
It worked.
It did. You build the
worked.
anticipation up.
Remember on the videos they used to do that?
Yeah.
The whole album was coming soon, like at the end of the video.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they did
And
that
they would
too.
even put that in some of the linear notes in the
Yeah,
CD and stuff
yeah.
like
Oh, yo,
that.
dog, that-
Coming soon or coming
promotional
next.
material.
Yo,
that
let
they
me
would
tell
pass
you,
out.
I was-
Wow, that's real.
I was shocked. I was shocked when I bought Tupac to the End of Time hard copy CD, and I opened it up and it had a picture of my album inside of it, said "Coming Soon." I was just shocked off that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Damn, 6 million people buy this motherfucker. They gonna see my advertisement in there. You know what I'm saying? So needless to say, I thought I was lit when I was young. You know what I'm saying? But
No, that's lit. That's lit, bro. That's lit.
but I'm like, that's that stuff that, like you said, man. I ain't gonna say no names, but there's a lot of labels, situations, and movements out there that I wish would do that, man. Where the artists would rap with each other more. You know what I'm saying? And not allow egos and all that other shit getting away. But anyway, we talking about this D.O.C., one of the greatest debut albums, in my opinion, in rap history. And now we are at a song called "Let the Bass Go."
Let the bass
You know what I'm saying?
Deeper, Dre.
That beat was cold.
That shit was Dre was
the production
psychotic
on this,
the production.
the production.
Yeah.
I mean, the marriage of his vocals on this production, like I know that was like a because for one, at first when I first heard D.O.C., I didn't even know that. I thought that It's Getting Funky. I thought that everything was gonna be reggae, right? Like, okay, this dude got a look. You know what I mean? That's kind of my cultural situation, so I easily adapted to that. And I'm like, okay, this is dope. Cause mind you, in '89, I was real young when that came out. Right. So, that's when you were able to see like the videos and different things like that. So didn't he like cameo in the NWA video prior to the album coming out? I think it was an Eazy-E video.
Yeah, he was hanging. He had to be in some of that shit.
I think he cameoed in it. Then they dropped the album before the album dropped.
I don't remember what song it was, but I think
I think you kind of seen him and you were like, who is this guy? You know what I'm saying? Right. And then boom, It's Getting Funky. It's like, okay, dang, that dude he was waiting around to drop. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think the production really complemented his style. And his style was real versatile because he gave you that, and then he gave you, stuff like I hate to bring it up, but he just gave you stuff like the formula. It was almost like night and day to a degree, but it was both real dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Lyrically, it was a vibe there, but it was like heavy, like I don't know, like it's really hard to describe.
He's one of them lyricists that seem to know when to switch the pattern and when to just flow on with the barrage of words that rhyme and are electrifying. You know what I'm saying? He seems to know. It's just instinctive. You have certain artists that just seem instinctive with them to know how to hit the pockets, to know, when to go on with the run-ons and when to stop and then come back in.
Yeah.
He's a showman.
That part.
With his lyricism as well, and a real solid dude too. On top of that, man, that's my guy, man. So
the Diggy Jock.
Yeah.
Beautiful but deadly.
Beautiful but deadly. They had Stan the Guitar Man come out and get crazy on the rock guitar, and that was another thing for me because Stan the Guitar Man, I knew I was familiar with him because of the NWA projects. Right. You know what I'm saying? So when Here Come the New Guy is still in that same system, I don't feel like I'm too far out of the NWA universe when I'm listening to D.O.C. You feel me? And it's like, I think that's important because movements and brands create a world that they bring you into, and you don't want to get too far off of that. You know what I'm saying? From what you're doing. So having those key players around them, you know, because they were talented as fuck. That part too. It just made it more easy for me to accept because, you know, it take a minute for when I was a young dude listening to hip hop. It took a minute for me to just accept a rapper. I don't give a fuck if he was dope or whatever. It took a minute, you know, before I'm like, yo, okay,
impress me, motherfucker.
Yeah, you know, I ain't just, you know what I'm saying.
I've heard that before.
I heard
impress
that shit.
Me,
yeah, I'm motherfucking bougie and shit. So, you know, it was dope to hear him in that pocket, man, and you know, to do the rock shit, and
it was creative.
It was creative.
It was very creative. You know what I mean? And you had to do that back then too. As an artist, as a new artist, you had to show your creativity. You know, it was one thing to rap about your situation and your ambitions, and it was one thing to rap about, you know, different aspects of your style and all that. But when you could create a story that everyone knows is fiction, but you make it sound believable and engaging and clever, you know, that kind of sets you apart from just being a standard, you know, 1, 2, 3, you know, check the style, you know, and, you know, just an average MC.
Yeah.
You know, it puts you
mediocre.
It puts you on another plateau because it showed that your mind could expand just beyond putting words together that rap, but you could actually create a whole tale out of your lyrical ability and engage your fan base with it, and you know, a rock song, beautiful but deadly. You know what I mean? And the story that he told, and you could visualize where he was taking you at through the story. You could see it vividly, and it's like, man, this dude is pretty fucking clever.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like you know, storytelling is one of the principles of trying to. If you want to be a great MC, you got to know how to storytell. You're not gonna get around storytelling. In my book, you ain't gonna never get around storytelling, and I'm gonna call you a great. Nah, you gotta be able to storytell. So you know, him telling his story, I like when he break down his verse and he just start talking. And he like saying, he's talking about the chick. And then he shouts out Ice Cube's song, I Ain't the One.
Right, yeah.
He shouts out Ice Cube, because I told y'all, I'm a nerd like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I like when motherfuckers talk about other albums that I like. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It just, you know what I mean? So when I heard it, he's like, yeah, you know, Ice Cube, I Ain't the One. I'm like, damn, that's my joint right there. So it gave me another little like reason to bump this shit. Right. And then, you know, but after he's talking, he falls back into the pocket of rapping flawlessly, seamlessly.
Yeah, he talked for about like 5 or 6 bars.
You know what I'm saying? And then he just fell straight back into it and got to the hook. You know what I'm saying? And that goes back to technical abilities. You know what I mean? I could stop rapping and talk to you in any fucking cadence and rhythm that don't even be on beat and still pick the beat right back up and slide you into the chorus without no problem. This is the D.O.C.
That's talent. That's talent and technique. That's talent and technique.
Gotta say that.
It's the Diggy Doc, y'all. Man.
And the D.O.C. and the doctor.
Now,
yo,
that was the first. I think that was the first like impression of somebody commanding a track without the energy, like, you know, the hip hop energy to rock the crowd. He was in his own zone.
Yeah.
On the document, he was in his own zone.
He was in his own zone,
and the rap wasn't rapid. It was like he was barely rapping because he was damn near talking. This album was brought to you by Mercedes of Long Beach, 2300 Spring Street in Signal Hill, California. Much love for the support. When you want to ride fly, check out Mercedes-Benz of Long Beach.